told me, wow, Luci, you are Arab, you are Muslim, you are a woman, you are coming from the periphery of Israel. It's like all the don't do in one person. It's like the only thing that is left is that you will be a lesbian, and that's it. It's like you will break every glass ceiling.
Luci Aharish is one of the most prominent television broadcasters in Israel. Then again, it's Israel. It's a small country, and there aren't a ton of famous broadcasters. The thing that makes Luci stand out is that she is the first Arab Muslim news presenter on mainstream Hebrew-language Israeli television. Born and raised in a small Jewish town in Israel's Negev desert as one of the only Arab Muslim families, Luci often says that she sees herself as sitting on a fence. By that, she doesn't mean that she's unwilling to take a side. As you'll see, she is a woman of strong convictions and moral backbone. What she means is that she has a unique vantage point through which to view the divisions in Israeli society, the complexity of the country's national identity, and the Middle East more generally. That complexity was put on display in 2018 when Luci's marriage to Jewish-Israeli actor and Fauda star Tzachi Halevi sparked tremendous backlash from the country's religious far right. Luci's long been a vocal critic of Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. In 2020, immediately following her participation in an online rally protesting Bibi's handling of the coronavirus pandemic, state-run broadcaster Khan fired Luci from her role. The network chalked up her firing to pandemic-related cutbacks. But Luci's also been equally critical of her fellow Israeli Arabs, particularly of Arab violence and of Arab leadership that she says condones it. A Muslim and a Zionist, an Arab and an Israeli. In short, Luci Aharish is an iconoclast. I sat down recently with Luci in Tel Aviv. We talked about the massacre of October 7th and its impact on the country and on her family. Her husband put on his uniform and headed to the south within hours of hearing the news. We also talked about the challenges she faced growing up as the only Muslim Arab kid in a traditional Jewish village. We talked about the terrorist attack that she survived in Gaza, and about the hope that she has for her Muslim Jewish son and the future of the country that she calls home.
Because for the first time, October 7th proved that we share the same destiny here. Arabs and Jews who are living in Israel, citizens of the state of Israel, share the same destiny. And you had a living proof for it, a living proof provided by Hamas, terrorists, when they got in and they filmed themselves killing and murdering and raping and burning innocent people, that they caught a guy from Jerusalem, East Jerusalem. He's telling them, I'm from Jerusalem, I'm from East Jerusalem. And they told him, oh, you're cooperating with Israel. And they killed him. They just shot him to death. So it got nothing to do with, if I will say, La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah, they will save me. No. They will spare my life. No, it doesn't work like that.
Growing up as little Luci in Dimona, the only Arab in your class, did you have any sense of what you wanted to be when you grew up?
An actress.
Okay, so you got, I guess, the next best thing, which is being a television journalist.
Yeah, television, journalist. I knew that I have a totally different story. I knew that I'm living in Dimona, I'm a Muslim.
Back then, it was a totally different situation.
It was a totally different situation. We used to go to the Gaza Strip to do some shopping there, buy groceries and shop and eat fish on the beach. It was there were a lot of Israelis getting into the Gaza Strip. And I remember it was a Saturday morning, and my uncle and his wife came to visit us with their two children. They came to visit us, and my uncle said to my dad, what do you think? Let's take a trip to the Gaza Strip. And my father told him, listen, I understand it was 1987. It was the beginning of the Intifada, the first Intifada. Really the beginning. And my father told him, well, I understood that the security situation is not that good. Let's postpone it. And to make a long story short, we decided that we're hitting the road. It was me, my mom, my dad, my uncle, his wife, and one of his children. I always say that a lot of people are in one car have this tendency, Arabs, to squeeze into cars. It's like another one is coming out of the car, and it's like grandma's in the bagage. And the word karma, where everything shows you that you are not supposed to be in that place that day. So we went to the grocery shop, and the grocery shop was closed. And then we went to the beach, and the guy that sold my mom fish was sick that day. And then we took a trip to Nasser Street, where there was a shop there, a Bambino. It was a clothes shop for children clothes and some perfumes and stuff. And we just parked the car, and the owner of the shop was just about to leave and like to close the shop. And my father is telling him, what's going on? Everything is closed, nobody's on the streets. And he told my father, well, you know, the security situation lately is not that good, and the young people here are talking about intifada, but you know what? You made it all the way from Dimona, I will open the shop for you. And I remember every time that I got there, I would ask my mom for one thing. I would ask my mom, I want red nail polish. And she would tell me, red, yes. And she would tell me no, because it's aib in Arabic. It's not respectful to put a red nail polish for a small child, small girl. And I would try my luck again. And I asked her again, Mom, can I have red nail polish? And without even thinking, she told me, you know what, just take it. So I like grabbed it and put it in a small brown bag, and I went outside so my mom won't change her mind. They went back to the car and we sat down, and just when we were about to leave, the owner of the shop just like got close and said to my dad, just do me a favor, until you're leaving Gaza, just make sure that your windows are closed. And my dad is looking at him, I told him, what are you talking about? Well, he told my dad is like, we are really white. My dad is blonde.
Is that the word he used?
Well, yeah, I don't know. He told him, you look Jewish. Like he told him, because my father is blonde with blue eyes. My uncle also is with green eyes. His wife is with blue eyes. So we didn't look like typical Arabs. So my father looked at him and said, what do you, well, put the Quran, put a newspaper in Arabic on the dashboard so people will know that you're an Arab. And my father told him, what? No, you need to understand, you have a yellow license plate. People might confuse you with being Jewish. And my father looked at him and he told him, Khali ala Allah, leave it to God. And we hit the road and we just were, I think it was in one of the main streets there, Salahuddin, if I'm not mistaken. And we hit the road, we hit traffic, so the car stopped. And it was a hot, like Saturday morning, so my father opened the window. And everybody were, you know, laughing and joking in the car, and I was sitting right next to the window. And I started looking outside, and I saw this figure coming towards the car. He was really tall, he was thin, he had some scars on his face, he had a necklace on his neck, and it was written on it, Allah, God. And something about him just fascinated me, and I couldn't take my eyes off him.
You're 5 years old?
Yeah, 5.5 years old. It was just before I went to like the first grade. I remember watching him, but I saw something in his hand, so I was like a little bit scared. So I started like scrolling down my seat, and I was looking like that, and I was watching him getting closer and closer to the car. And my mom is watching me like going like that, and she told me, Luci, sit straight. And I didn't even look at her, I just continued watching outside the window, looking at him, getting closer and closer to the car. And my mom again, Luci, sit straight. And the third time that my mom, he like really like was next to the car, he looked me straight in the eyes. And the third time that my mom said, Luci, there was a huge explosion in the car. Like the next thing that I remember was my face hitting the ground. I was trying to lift myself up. I looked at one side, I saw my mom crying. I looked at the other side, I saw my uncle's wife screaming to death. And I looked up and I saw my cousin going into flames, and my father was trying to put down the fire. And at that moment, I said to myself, where is my red nail polish? I was trying to disconnect myself from this, from everything that I saw, from the screaming of my father, help us. We are Arabs like you, help us. Nobody reached out. Nobody helped us. Everybody were watching it like it's a really bad action movie. I think it was after 20 minutes that there was like some army forces got in and took us out. My cousin went through a lot of surgeries. And for a long time, I hated Palestinians. I hate Palestinians. You need to kill them, you need to murder them all. And I remember at a certain point, my extended family heard me saying it. And they said to my dad, well, she hates us. She hates herself. She hates who she is. She hates who we are. And my father, my very, very clever, wise dad, told them, well, she will grow up. She will understand that life is a little bit more complicated than she thinks. And he was right.